President Trump's second term in the White House could bring significant changes to the housing market. So let's talk about it. First, it makes sense for us to review what housing-related policies Trump endorsed during his campaign and in his first few days in the White House. Then, we'll talk about how each of these can affect the housing market.
We're going to protect those companies with strong tariffs.
And I'll demand that interest rates drop immediately.
So we're going to bring things and you're going to buy that house and you're going to pay 2.5%, 3% interest.
Are going to pass the largest tax cut in American history.
I'm going to immediately impose a 25% tariff on everything they send in to the United States of America.
Housing affordability is mentioned in the 2024 Republican platform, which can be found on Trump's website. It reads, "To help new home buyers, Republicans will reduce mortgage rates by slashing inflation, open limited portions of federal lands to allow for new home construction, promote homeownership through tax incentives and support for first-time homebuyers, and cut unnecessary regulations that raise housing costs." Throughout his campaign, Trump promised to drop interest rates. And of course he can't do this directly, but his policies can have an effect on them. Next, the day after taking office, just this past Tuesday, Trump discussed the potential for imposing a 10% tariff on Chinese imports and 25% tariffs on Canadian and Mexican goods. Trump has also shared that he intends to extend tax cuts from 2017, and has promised to remove the $10,000 cap on the deduction for state and local taxes, in addition to eliminating taxes on tip income, overtime pay, and retirees' Social Security benefits. It should also be noted that according to project manager Kunal Patel's and analyst Alex Schwarster's analysis that was just released, there is a good chance the Trump administration will attempt to privatize both Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae. And finally, Trump has promised to ease regulations to help home builders increase housing supply and therefore bring down home prices. For those of you investors who built new construction in 2024 and are already struggling in a declining market, this is not what you want to hear. But for anyone waiting to buy a home, this is exactly what you've been waiting for. So what housing market changes are possible? According to mortgage lender Jay Haman of Haman Finance, pro-business policies are good for the stock market, and when stocks go up, bonds traditionally fall. Lower bond prices mean higher yields, which drive up mortgage rates. Most experts are reporting that they don't foresee any major interest rate drops in 2025. And this isn't necessarily a bad thing, because those low interest rates are what got us here. Or at least they're a small factor involved. Lower rates could jack up housing prices again, and that's not what we need in a housing affordability crisis. When it comes to interest rates in 2025, we're either going to see those rates remain stationary without any significant dips, or we may even see rates rise again, causing those home prices to fall. I'm just popping in to say welcome to my channel and thank you so much for watching. If you want to keep seeing videos just like this one, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to my channel. Alright, let's get back to it. Moving on to the topic of tariffs, these additional expenses often get pushed off onto consumers, meaning higher prices of goods, including building materials. This could cause home building prices to increase and therefore cause home prices to rise. Conversely, on his first day in office, Trump issued a memorandum.
We have a directive to every department and agency in the federal government to address the cost of living crisis that has cost Americans so dearly.
It reads that he orders the heads of all executive departments and agencies to deliver emergency price relief consistent with applicable law to the American people. And this includes lowering the cost of housing and expanding the housing supply. The National Association of Home Builders issued a statement relaying that they look forward to working with the Trump administration to enact policies boosting production and affordability. In this statement, they shared a link to their 10-point housing plan, which includes the need for ending tariffs. So, on one hand, you have Trump discussing the potential for implementing tariffs on Chinese, Mexican, and Canadian goods. And in the other, you have the National Association of Home Builders that will be working alongside the Trump administration, stating that these tariffs need to go away. At surface level, this seems quite paradoxical. We'll have to wait and see what really happens. Now, let's pivot to Trump's tax policies and how these could affect the housing market. Trump plans to extend the tax cuts from 2017, which lowered the corporate tax rate. According to Mark Hamrick, Washington bureau chief and senior economic analyst for Bankrate, a lower corporate tax rate could stimulate housing activity, boost investment, and potentially lead to increased housing market activity. He then notes that this could cause a rise in new construction, an increase in housing supply, and a drop in home prices. Trump is also likely to extend the rules that allow bonus depreciation. This allows apartment developers and investors to deduct more depreciation during their first year of ownership, which incentivizes the development of new rental units and the purchase of and improvement of dilapidated apartment buildings. According to Brenda Christensen, CEO of Stellar Public Relations, we will likely see tax incentives boost residential real estate markets nationwide, particularly in inner cities where Trump has voiced an interest in revitalizing. Finally, let's move on to the topic of the potential for privatization of Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae. At present, the government guarantees these loans, which keeps mortgage rates lower. But if privatized, these guarantees go away and mortgage rates will increase. Without certain policy reforms in place, the privatization of Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae could have a large negative impact on consumers. This could make the ability to purchase a home even further out of reach than it already is for a lot of people in the United States. Right now, we're working with very limited information, but as Trump implements new policies, we'll be able to get a better idea as to where this housing market is going. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Alexandra, and I'll see you next time.